What to expect when raising an alien. Chapter 3, Snow. If there was one thing Sonic hated, more than anything in the whole world, it was being cooped up inside.
Why can't I go out?
He whined, pacing the area in front of the front door.
I won't be that long.
It's too cold.
Tom said, sitting on the couch next to Maddie. Both were reading, and rather content with it. There was a blizzard raging outside, and nobody was leaving their house until it was over.
Why don't you come read with us?
I already finished my book.
Sonic argued. It had not taken too long. He was a fast reader.
We've got plenty of books.
Maddie said, not looking up from the novel in her hand.
Or you could play a video game, or take a nap. There's plenty to do in the house.
Sonic groaned.
I've done everything there is to do in the house.
Why don't you clean your room?
Tom suggested. Sonic let out a scandalized gasp.
My room is clean, thank you very much.
He leaned against the side of the couch.
Why can't I go outside?
He asked again.
You will get sick, Sonic.
Maddie said.
You don't know that. I'm an alien. A human would get sick.
Tom raised his eyebrows, turning to look at his wife.
He's actually got a point.
I think if aliens can be hurt by illusions, they are still susceptible to frostbite, and we should be safe rather than sorry.
Maddie said.
I'll just be 1 minute.
Sonic promised, already sliding over to the door.
No, Sonic.
Tom said, before the door opened and closed in a flash of blue, and Sonic was gone.
He never listens.
He's a kid.
Maddie said, putting her book down and standing. She grabbed her coat and a pair of gloves.
We'll go out and make sure he doesn't hurt himself.
Tom sighed, but he stood and put on his own coat. Sonic was cold. He really had expected that, considering that he was an alien, and that he'd never been cold in his cave before. He figured the snow would be no problem. Instead, he stood shivering as the snow rained down around him, wondering why he had thought to grab the scarf he'd knit all by himself, after Maddie taught him how.
Sonic.
Tom and Maddie's voices were distant, but enough for Sonic to at least start carefully making his way back to the house. At least he thought it was the way back to the house.
Sonic, where are you?
No, Tom's voice was definitely farther away now. Sonic turned. Everything was covered in snow, and it all looked the same.
Sonic, just here we are.
Sonic was cold, and scared, and worried he would never actually get to see the Wachowskis again, or his room, or even Ozzy. There was electricity in the air, and Sonic could feel it sparking around him. It only served to make him more anxious, more scared of what was coming for him. More.
Sonic.
Tom was in front of him, concern written across his face. Abruptly, Sonic's electricity cut off, leaving him shaking and exhausted. To Tom's surprise, the hedgehog threw himself into his arms, and Tom returned the embrace.
I'm sorry.
Sonic mumbled.
You were right. I shouldn't have run off.
Tom sighed, standing with Sonic still in his arms. Maddie was right. He was a kid. He was going to be irresponsible and reckless, and he wasn't going to listen all the time.
I'm just glad you're okay.
Tom said, carrying Sonic back to where Maddie was standing. The snow had died down, at least enough for them to see the path back to the house, and Maddie kept a comforting hand on the hedgehog still in Tom's arms as they headed back home. The house was warm and Ozzy was waiting right outside the door when they walked in. Tom set Sonic down on the couch and sat down next to him, Maddie on his other side.
You don't need to listen to us, Sonic. We know what we're talking about.
Tom said.
I know.
Sonic said, voice much quieter than usual.
I'm sorry.
Maddie wrapped a hand around Sonic's shoulders and pulled him close.
I guess you've learned your lesson, though.
Sonic nodded. The house was quiet for a moment before he sneezed.
Huh? I guess I can get sick.
Sonic said. Tom sighed.
I've got the thermometer.